Fox Sports.
Last night, the Marlins faced Bartolo Colon and the red-hot Mets. Forget about it. The Marlins outplayed the Mets in a 6-0 shutout. Miami has won 5 straight series, and the Fish are on an 11-4 run. And tonight, they take the Thunder to our nation's capital. Gorgeous day in our nation's capital, turning in tonight at Nationals Park. This is a 4-game series, and this will decide the fate of the Nationals in 2015. Marlin fans arriving. Big crowd, loud crowd, presidential crowd expected tonight. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton, high atop Nationals Park. 4-gamer. Nationals are desperate. Marlins are hot. And Justin Bour, who sparkled last night, certainly with the bat, is happy to be back home.
How about Justin Bour sparkling with a 437-foot home run last night at Citi Field? He got a fastball from Tyler Clippard. You can't sneak it by Justin Bour. But you know what? The ball club has moved on to a park that he has had really good success in. Justin Bour has hit the Nationals well, but especially here at Nationals Park. 3 home runs and 7 RBIs and a .273 average. He feels real good here at home.
Marlins are hot. The Fish have won 11 of 15. That you know, but you know what? The Nationals all of a sudden showing signs of life. They've picked up 2 games in the last 2 days. They're 7.5 behind the Mets, and they've won 4 straight. It's a 4-gamer. We're in D.C. Maybe some belly bumping tonight's Fish and Nationals. On a beautiful night in D.C., Dee Gordon settling into the box. Tanner Roark on the mound, and this game is ready to go. Nationals Marlins. Fastball is up, and it's brought to you by Pinch a Penny for Dee Gordon. He comes in at .332. Gordon last night 2 for 5. He had a big night 2 nights ago with 4 hits, but still he trails Bryce Harper by 6 points in the National League batting race. Angel Hernandez calls that a strike, and the count is 1 ball and 1 strike. Tanner Roark was a star last year, winning 15 games, but this year in and out of the rotation, not the same type of success. Finds himself in the rotation down the stretch.
Yeah, interesting, Rich, making just his 9th start of the year, but 37th appearance overall.
Gordon up the middle into center field, and that's a base hit. And a nice way for Gordon and Miami to start this 4-game series. Miami's lineup is brought to you by JM Lexus. No high stirrups for Gordon tonight. Christian Yelich is in center. Martin Prado at third. Justin Bourne the cleanup spot. Marcell Ozuna's in right. Derek Dietrich in left. Jeff Mathis will do the catching. He's actually hitting 7th. Miguel Rojas 8th, and Jared Cozart is in the 9 spot. And here is Yelich with Gordon, a threat to run. 51 stolen bases for Dee Gordon.
And the hits, Rich, just keep piling up for Dee Gordon. That's number 183 on the year.
You have one of the better catch and throw catchers behind the plate in Wilson Ramos. Certainly he's been pretty good at slowing down the running game this year. Gordon now 183 hits. Jose Altuve and Xander Bogaerts follow. Yelich left field, pretty well hit. Worth forced back to the track. Gordon tags. Worth has a good arm, and he shows it off with a one-hop throw.
Let's go through the Nationals defense for you, brought to you by BMW. You know, Jason Worth is in left. Taylor and Harper fill out the outfield. Good speed out there, good range. Escobar, Desmond on the left side. Rendon and Clint Robinson is at first base. Wilson Ramos behind the plate.
Martin Prado, who's on a nice run, is up his average to 285. Been productive in that 3 spot. Prado homered last night. Miami blasted 3 homers against the Mets. 2 of those against Bartolo Colon. And Prado's, I don't know if it was deeper than Bohr's, but it was about the same.
I'll give you a number, Rich. How about that? Justin Bour's, we talked about 437 feet. Martin Prado's blast, 430. His longest home run since 2011.
So would you accept about the same as a correct answer?
Yes. If you're in the range within 10 feet. That works for me.
Big lead, and Gordon is chased back by Roark. And while the Marlins have been winning 11 of their last 15 in 5 consecutive series, the Nationals went through that terrible plunge, which they were swept by the Mets and found themselves in a tailspin that dropped them 9.5 games back in the East. Prado drills that one left center field and deep. Taylor back, looking up, and it is gone. Martin Prado with a home run, a 2-run shot. A fan reached over. Jason Worth waved to the umpire as if to say fan interference. The umpires haven't budged. Matt Williams hasn't come out yet, but he's on the steps, and the Nationals are looking at it. If it stands, another wallop from Prado.
I tell you, some newfound power from Martin Prado.
He looks like he is behind the fence.
Yeah, he's behind.
You see how the wall is set up. Well, the ball goes behind the padding.
It goes behind that blue padding, which I have to think is the home run wall. So if that's the case, the fan didn't interfere. Now, if it has to go over that second wall, then it's a possibility. But I don't think it does. We'll find out.
This is a crew chief review. It's not a challenge, though the Nationals certainly saw it on their replay system and suggested an umpire review. If it stands, it's a two-run homer. If not, it would take both runs off the board, because Gordon would have to go to third and Prado back to second. So this is a rather important look in New York. There have been no replays shown in the ballpark here. Just that big black ominous sign that
I would think, because it's a crew chief review. That's probably why.
It says the play is under review.
But I believe once it goes over that padded wall, it's a home run, and it is.
And it is. Ted Barrett says home run. He's the second base umpire. And the call is confirmed. So a two-run shot, and the Marlins have a 2-0 lead. And that biggest smile in there next to Prado's is from Jared Cozart, the starting pitcher, who has yet to throw a pitch and has a 2-0 lead.
Well, the Marlins have come out swinging. Dee Gordon with a base hit. Yelich sent Jason Worth near the warning track in left field, and then Prado's home run.
Now Bohr, who takes in 2 home runs the last time the Marlins were here. 17 on the season, and a George Mason product. And he sends that one in the air to center field, sending Rendon and Taylor after it, and it's Michael Taylor, Fort Lauderdale product, who makes the catch.
Let's give you our scouting report on the 28-year-old right-hander. Good sink to the fastball, but it's not sinking now. The Marlins have had good swings. He's not a strikeout guy, and as we've talked about, he's been a spot starter, but he certainly was an every fifth day starter last year. 31 starts and 15 wins.
Marcell Ozuna takes a fastball for a strike. Ozuna in the 5 spot in the order, and in right field. Still no Giancarlo Stanton yet. The Marlins and Stanton have not closed the book on 2015, but certainly they are running out of days in the schedule. Ozuna fouls it back. That's 0-2. In the meanwhile, the Marlins getting a look at Ozuna in right field, and that has pushed Christian Yelich from left into center. There's Stanton, and they especially miss him in this ballpark. This has been his personal playground for a while. One-two pitch. Ozuna flips it down the right field line, and it's foul and out of play. Tommy, this would be your personal playground if your numbers look like this.
Yeah, it sure would. And boy, do we miss seeing him in the lineup. I'm sure the Nationals don't, but look at that: 46 hits, 15 home runs, an OPS of over 1,000. Just incredible. So Yeah, it has to be frustrating, and I'm sure it is for Giancarlo, especially in this ballpark.
Roark tried to catch the outside part. You saw that fastball come back, but apparently it didn't come back far enough. Although that's pretty close. It looks like it's nudged right up on the black. Ozuna just gets a piece of it. The Nationals rotation with Roark in it right now. The rest of the series, they run out Max Scherzer, Jordan Zimmermann, and a hot Steven Strasburg. Marlins go with Jose Fernandez. Terrific matchup tomorrow with Max Scherzer. Jordan Zimmermann and Justin Nicolino on Saturday. Brad Hand against Strasburg on Sunday. That one's going to land out of the reach of Clint Robinson. The mood of the fans here in D.C., Tommy Hutton, is one of disappointment, hope that they can get hot, but still I think so much ground lost. 7.5 games back. And down goes Ozuna. But up go the Marlins, up by 2. Martin Prado, last night a long homer, tonight one of the deepest parts of the ballpark. It's 2-0. We talked about the run he's been on the last month and a half, and he continues with a 2-run homer, and that stakes Jared Cozart to the lead. And here's the lineup Cozart faces, brought to you by JM Lexus. Really good bats with Anthony Rendon, Yunel Escobar, Bryce Harper, Jason Worth, Clint Robinson at first. Ryan Zimmerman is still out. Ian Desmond at short. Wilson Ramos, the catcher. Michael Taylor out in center, and Tanner Roark in the 9 spot.
There's no question, Rich, Jared Cozart's best pitch is fastball. Last time out, 5 shutout innings against these Nationals. Jeff Mathis telling us that he just wants to see Cozart work the fastball, both sides of the plate, use that curveball, and maybe a handful of changeups.
Anthony Rendon has hit in 8 straight, so there are hot hitters in this National lineup. They've won 4 in a row, and Rendon one of those. Not your prototypical leadoff guy, but for Matt Williams, he's at .368 with his on-base percentage. Cozart, who features mainly those fastballs, is out in front 0-2.
You know, you look at the Nationals ball club down the road, you might see a Michael Taylor in a year or so up at the top of the order.
Denard Span, who filled that role for the Nationals, out for the season. Taylor in his spot in center field. to right. Ozuna races on and makes the catch. It's a nice play by Ozuna. Miami's defense tonight brought to you by BMW.
We always like to go to that defense after a nice play. And there it is with Dietrich in left, Christian Yelich making his 28th start in center field, Ozuna in right. Prado, Rojas, D. Gordon, Justin Bour around that infield. The aforementioned Jeff Mathis behind the plate.
Yunel Escobar. Two hopper out to short. Rojas to first. And Escobar, who is in that batting race, a .321 average, is 0 for 1. Atop the batting race is Bryce Harper. And here comes Harper, who is having an MVP season. And look, say all you want about Yoenis Cespedes, say all you want about Paul Goldschmidt. The numbers that Harper is putting up, and it's not just average homers and RBIs. The numbers he is putting up are historic. A slash line in baseball includes a batting average, an on-base percentage, and a slugging percentage. Batting average measures your hits. On base, how often are you on base? Slugging, do you do damage with the hits that you get? The last guy to finish a season with a slash line better than Harper's right now was Barry Bonds in 2004. He's .467 on base, .670 slug. That's historic. That's an MVP.
You hear the terms, he has slowed the game down a little bit. He's become much more patient at the plate. His knowledge of the strike zone has gotten much greater. And I think basically he's having the kind of year everybody expected him to have. And as we've mentioned, he's still just 22.
You hear it in a lot of sports where people say, as a great athlete, you're able to slow the game down. And it feels like and looks like Harper's been able to do that. But as well, Tommy, I think he himself has slowed down. Because he had a tendency to get going a little quick. That's a shot to center. Yelich. Wow. That one almost zoomed right by him. I don't know that Harper can hit it much harder than that. Even Yelich smiling. home run. And in Washington, D.C., important to note that the copyrighted telecast you're watching, presented by the authority, the Marlins may not be reproduced, retransmitted in any form. Accounts, descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Marlins.
Honestly.
You're right, honestly. There is Derek Dietrich. And he takes a breaking ball down low. Jeff Mathis and Miguel Rojas for the Fish. D. Gordon a base hit after Yelich lined out. Martin Prado went out to left center field. A two-run homer for Prado against Tanner Roark, who's been in the bullpen mainly. This is start number 9.
Derek Dietrich just one hit, 1 for 6 against Roark, but it was a home run.
Dan Jennings celebrating his birthday last night in New York. And Dietrich shoots it right back up the box and into center field for a base hit. Marlins skipper with a birthday, Pat Shine, the Marlins coach who mans the replay system, also celebrating a birthday as well.
So a little celebration on the train ride, about a 3-hour ride from New York to Washington, D.C.
Mike Goff, his bench coach. Here's Mathis now. Jeff Mathis doesn't get a lot of at-bats over the course of a week. But if you've watched him play over the course of the last 3 weeks, you know that he's swinging the bat pretty well, and much better certainly than he did early in the season. Now, it hasn't manifested itself in a high batting average just because of the infrequency of the at-bats. But he's been hitting line drives like that, which drives Harper shy of the track. That's kind of what Mathis has been doing for 3 weeks.
Yeah, you told me you had a nice talk with him about what he's tried to do offensively.
Yeah, he said that he kind of got caught up in trying to go the other way and slap the ball, push it to the right side, and it really didn't work for him. And of course, he had an injury. He was on the DL for a while, so he decided to just go back to being aggressive, especially early in the count. Here now is Miguel Rojas. You've got Cozart on deck. The Mets are idle tonight, so that half game that the Nationals have affixed to their deficit, as in 7.5 back, well, that's in the balance here. It's either going to be 7 or 8 for Matt Williams and the Nationals when this thing is done tonight.
Yeah, the Mets open up that 3-game series at Citi Field against the Yankees tomorrow night.
Jam shot. Rojas flips it out towards Rendon. Well, the Marlins beat the Mets twice in series over the last week and a half. They beat the Nationals as well in Miami. And look where Miami is ahead of Atlanta. The Fish have a 6-game lead for 3rd place in the division. No consolation, but it's worth noting, and certainly something to shoot for this ball club.
Well, also climbing over Milwaukee, better record than the Brewers, better record than Cincinnati, better than Colorado.
As many teams as you can pass over the next 2 weeks, the Marlins certainly will take it. Cozart up the middle. Rendon flips. Desmond gets the out. 2-0 Miami here in D.C. is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. By Vico Painting Contractors. For top quality work, excellent customer satisfaction, visit VicoPainting.com. And by Checkers, Epic Meals, Epic Deals. By AutoNation, save on over 70,000 vehicles now. Visit us online at AutoNation.com. The Anacostia River as you look across into Nationals Park. First of 4, starting on this Thursday night. The birds behind home plate have been wandering there for about 10 minutes, Tommy. They don't seem to be too concerned with anybody who's on deck. There's some good seeds to be had there.
Yeah, not affected at all. They have their mind set on just one thing.
Jason Worth.
Well, we talked about how hot Harper's been. Jason Worth in that 3-game series against his former team in Philadelphia was 5 for 13, had 2 multi-homer games, had 4 home runs in that series and 7 RBIs.
And for Worth, it's interesting. You bookend a couple quotes from Worth about a month and a half apart, and they kind of tell the tale of this Nationals team. When they started to wobble and the Mets started to make some noise, some folks got a little nervous. Mets took a slight lead in the standings. Worth lines it foul. And Worth said, you know what, we're still the team to beat in this division. And of course the Mets would go on to have a 9.5 game lead. And a couple days ago when the lead was 9.5, Worth said this has been a season of missed opportunities.
It's almost since the time of that quote things started to go in the other direction for the Nationals.
Tomorrow night starter Max Scherzer. 2-2. Cozart's fastball is up and in. Jarred Cozart facing the Nationals in D.C. Clint Robinson, Ian Desmond also coming up. Cozart's been really good his last 2 starts. He hasn't gone that deep. In fact, in 2 starts, 9 2/3 innings, but just 1 run, which is a sign, a great sign if you're the Marlins, that this right-hander is starting to get healthy and hopefully in 2016 can duplicate what he did in the second half of last year. And Worth walks. He has done that a lot in his series. When the Marlins get back, the Phillies are waiting, and on Tuesday, it's a half-price Tuesday, thanks to the Miami Heralds. Final one of the season, half-price Lexus Legends Platinum tickets, great discounts on tickets and other several categories. Marlins.com, the place to go.
Marlins did not see Clint Robinson in that series in Miami. His wife was giving birth, so he was away for a few days.
He's at first with Ryan Zimmerman still on the shelf.
Good pitch there, and that's just a pitch that will help that fastball even more. You know, there are some, and we'll have to do a little research on this. I'm going to throw it out there, but I'm going to have to do my homework. In thinking about Cozart, because he hasn't thrown a lot of innings this year, there's some feel that maybe sometime, maybe in the fall league, maybe in winter ball, just to get some innings and build up the arm a little bit and get ready for next year. We'll have to look into that.
And a lot of that goes to workload after years where you don't throw a lot of innings.
Because last year, for Jarred Cozart, between his 20 starts as an Astro and his 10 starts as a Marlin, so 30 starts altogether, 13 wins, a little over 180 innings.
Well, Vertigo is a cool song by U2. Great movie by Alfred Hitchcock, but no fun for a professional athlete. Because it's not something you can ice or work rehab on. And for Cozart, it was something that took rest, some exercises, and patience, lots of that.
And now there are some rehab exercises that he continues to do.
Two balls and two strikes. There is Desmond. So for Bono, a place called Vertigo is a happy place, not for Cozart. And he wants a reset on the signs with Jeff Mathis. Keep you updated on games going on tonight in baseball. Some real interesting ones, including this one, with a desperate Nationals team eager to make up another half game over the idle Mets. And the Marlins, who've been playing spoilers for the last month and a half and who have won 5 consecutive series for the first time since 2003.
And by the way, the reason Clint Robinson is playing, the Nationals are without Ryan Zimmerman probably for the entire year. An oblique has once again kept him out of the lineup, so that's why Robinson's in there.
Worth still at first. Cozart gets a ground ball. Bour can't get it, but D. Gordon is on the spot, and he races to the bag and gets the out.
Have no fear. D is here. I know Justin Bour's his thought was, if I can get to this ball and pick it, he can get the lead runner and get Jason Worth headed to second base. He wasn't able to pick it, and that's why you back up your teammates. D. Gordon right there on the spot. So that could go 3-4 unassisted. I think Bour touched it a little bit. He'd almost have to.
Here's what happened at second base. Rojas was set because he thought Bour was going to field it and might go to second. Worth, sliding in, went over the bag and finds himself in a pile, but safely at second. So now here's Ian Desmond.
4 unassisted, not touched by Justin Bour.
One and 0 to Desmond, Sarasota product. 26 doubles, 17 home runs. And he drives it to left and hits it well. Back goes Dietrich, and it's gone. Ian Desmond ties the game.
Desmond would like a rewind and start the year all over again and have a first half the way he has had a second half. The curveball just floats. It wasn't that sharp, good biting curve we've seen Jared Cozart use. Desmond with his 18th home run, but since the All-Star break, that's number 10.
He's had a better second half defensively as well. And now Wilson Ramos.
So just like that, a couple of 2-run homers in a tie game.
Where will Ian Desmond be next year?
The feeling seems to be it will not be with the Washington Nationals.
There's a few guys in national uniforms that you're not quite sure. Where Jordan Zimmerman going to be? Where's Matt Williams going to be? You know, the one thing that could save Matt Williams, Mike Rizzo, the vice president / GM, is the guy that brought Williams over. He was in Arizona, was Rizzo. Williams part of that organization. And that's a much better breaking ball there from Cozart.
It's good to come back after giving up the 2-run homer on the floating curveball, the one that didn't break a lot, to throw a couple of good ones, which he did to Wilson Ramos. That one started about knee high and ended up well out of the zone, but a good pitch.
Doug Fister, Denard Span, also guys that could end up somewhere else. And Tommy, you pointed out Michael Taylor, a budding young player out of Westminster Academy in South Florida. He could be the answer in center field.
And the other South Florida kid who we've seen a little bit, Trey Turner, could be the answer at shortstop.
Taylor to right. Ozuna on the spot makes the catch. Couple 2-run homers in this one. Ian Desmond, our team product. And an even ball game into the third. Strongest fan photo of the game. We encourage you to send it with a hashtag FL Data Strong Fan. That way we can find it and we can make you the Data Strong fan of the game. It's brought to you by T-Mobile. We'll show it on the telecast. Into left field, Dee Gordon, 2 for 2 tonight. As we told you, this is a showdown. 4 games. Gordon and Harper. National League batting race in the balance. And Gordon has opened that competition by going 2 for 2. Harper is 0 for 1.
Just simply impressive. Coming off a 3-game series in New York where he was 8 for 14. So Dee Gordon now 10 for his last 16.
Up to the minute numbers. D. Gordon at 335. Harper has stayed at 338. Escobar dropped a point in his offer. Yelich takes in. Yelich got into one and drilled it to left, sending Worth back to the warning track.
Yeah, neither team took batting practice on the field. Both teams took their cuts in the indoor cages.
Gordon chased back. Of course, there's a lot of things that Gordon is chasing. Not only the National League batting title, the stolen base crown would be nice. He is 6 behind Billy Hamilton of Cincinnati. And he's running. Got a good jump. Ramos. His throw is late and a stolen base for Gordon. He's got 52 bags.
It has been fun, and you and I have talked about it all year, Rich. The way that D. Gordon has approached playing every game with the team at one point way down at the bottom, not playing well. His play has been consistent.
Preston Wilson is down there. Press, what'd you see on that? It looked from up here like a pretty good jump.
Well, D. Gordon's playing a little bit of cat and mouse over there at first base. His first time when he was over at first, every time Roark came set, he kind of jab stepped back towards first base, which was kind of saying, I'm not going, I'm not going. So this time around, he just held his ground, and when he got a good jump, he took off.
And Gordon, of course, if you sleep on him, will take third base as well. Yelich rolls it up the middle. Rendon sweeps it over to first to get the out. It moves Gordon 90 feet away, and it puts Prado at the plate with a chance here to reclaim the lead.
Nicely done, though, by Christian Yelich. Getting that ground ball. We know he loves to hit the ball the other way, but was able to roll over, pull that ground ball, and get D over to third. Appreciated by his teammates. Infield comes in.
For Prado, blasted one out to left center. His second homer in 2 nights. And we noted, Tommy, that's a strike. The run that Prado's been on to sharpen it for you. His last 23 games, including this one, his average over 370. 6 doubles, 4 homers. And he's driven in 18.
Yeah, there have really been some interesting numbers surrounding Martin Prado. You go back to the time he was put into the number 3 spot when Dan Jennings made that move. He's hit over 350 as a number 3 hitter.
That one is out. Justin Bour's on deck. And Prado swings and misses.
This is where I think Martin Prado really gets tough. With 2 strikes in this situation, too, where he knows he's trying to get a job done and get that run in from third.
Well above major league average. It sits at 51%. Busted bat and a great pitch by Roark, and that gets Prado and keeps Gordon anchored at third.
You know, every once in a while you just have to say the pitcher made a good pitch. He had him chasing slider away, then he ran a real good fastball in on his hands to break his back.
Justin Bour. Bour fly to center. Nationals don't have a real exotic shift or dramatic. Although I kind of like exotic.
I don't know if exotic fits Justin Bour, though.
No, but the defense is what I'm describing. Here's the 2-0. And he fouls that one back, and it's 2-1. Ozuna on deck. Bour has his slugging percentage up over 450 now. And is on base at 322. Big lead by Gordon. Pitches a called strike. 2-2. And it was a strike.
I think one of the other things we've seen during this nice stretch of games, the Marlins having won 11 out of 15, we've seen guys pick their teammates up. One guy doesn't get the job done, the next guy does.
He could not hold up, and Roark gets through that third and leaves Gordon out there at 90 feet. And Washington. Marlins' last meeting with the Nationals this year. Bryce Harper got the helmet on. He's due up fourth this inning. You got Tanner Roark, Anthony Rendon, and Yunel Escobar. And that's strike one to Roark. Ian Desmond, a line drive homer into the Marlins bullpen in left. That was in the second. Martin Prado, his a little bit further, and it was out closer to center field, out in left center field. Gordon backhands and gets Roark. After this weekend in D.C., Marlins are home for a series that starts on Tuesday, and on Wednesday, Kids Eat Free. That's the 23rd. The Phillies at 7:10. Every child 12 and under with a ticket receives a coupon for a free KM Beef Frank bag of Frito-Lay chips, small Pepsi or Aquafina water. Get your tickets for Kids Eat Free Wednesday. It's the last one at Marlins.com. Here's Rendon, who line to right. One of the most interesting games in baseball tonight is Houston in Arlington against Texas, as the Rangers have caught and passed the Astros atop the West. Another one into right field. Ozuna is there, and he swoops in and makes the catch. Well, this one certainly has National League East ramifications. The Mets are off. They're probably keeping an eye on this score. Nationals 7.5 back. With just over 2 weeks to play in the season. Houston and Texas. You got Houston a 1.5 games back, with that series wrapping up tonight in Arlington. Escobar. I think the Nationals have to be pretty darn pleased with the season they've been able to get out of Yunel Escobar.
I think you and I were both surprised. First, I didn't know if he had enough ABs to qualify, but he certainly does. Wasn't sure if he was in the realm of qualifying for the batting race.
Escobar hit by the pitch as he was starting his swing. Whether he completed the swing or not, I'm not sure. I could not tell where the ball hit him. Oh, it didn't hit him up in the face. It hit him either in the hand or the bat. Now, is it a swing? I don't think it's a swing. I got to be honest with you.
See, I'm with you, and we agreed last year on Giancarlo. When you're trying to get out of the way, even though you've opened up to swing.
But in looking at that, it looks like it hits the bat, and it doesn't hit his hand.
If it hit the bat, yeah, it's a different story.
Well,
but that is something the umpire, home plate umpire Angel Hernandez, can hear because he's close.
Is his hand off the bat? It looks like it. It looks like it hits the bat.
It also
cleanly.
looks like it could hit that shoulder, the right shoulder, too.
Oh. All right, well, let's listen. Yeah, that sounded like shoulder.
Shoulder, yeah.
That sounded like shoulder. Another look. Oh, wait a minute. That didn't hit anything. That looked like it missed him completely. And then it hit Mathis's glove and then Angel Hernandez. It looks like the Nationals are trying to figure out if Escobar can stay in this game. He may have hit his head. Watch this. That misses everything.
It doesn't hit him.
And hits the umpire.
It does not hit him.
It's amazing because the first angle we had, it looked like it hit the bat.
That's a great example of how many times did we see that? 4 or 5 times.
Right.
Before we actually saw that it didn't hit him and glanced off the glove, off Real Muto's mitt, and caught Angel Hernandez.
It looks like the Nationals are going to take Escobar out of this game, you would expect. I mean, the trainer was out. They're waiting and looking into their dugout. Or maybe they were looking to see.
Trying to figure out what the count was and whether they call that a strike or a ball.
All right, that's a good point. And that is hit by pitch is reviewable. A foul tip is not. So the count is 1-1, and that was called a ball. Huh.
It took a while, but they got it right.
And Escobar fouls it back. From looking at Escobar, after he went down, he was slow to get up. The trainer was out. He's still trying, it looks like, to catch his balance. Or I don't know what you want to call it. Here's the 1-2.
Well, you don't want to talk balance and vertigo with Cozart on the mound.
No, but I mean, when you go down and go down that quickly and fall awkwardly. 2-2. Breaking ball is up. Escobar lifts it, fouling out of play. Escobar right now having some sort of discussion with Mathis. And again, it looks like they're talking about the count. Full count. It's low. That was an adventurous walk, wasn't it? And we check in with Preston Wilson with Bryce Harper coming to the plate.
Guys, at the right young age of 22, Bryce Harper has become the superstar that he was touted to be. But it hasn't come without some adjustments needed. He's made some changes over the years. See on the left, his hands, his bat is straight up. He's made that adjustment. On the right, it's more of a cock position. Watch his body, how it raises up through his swing there on the left side. What he's done this year is he's got his hands in the cock position more, takes that movement out, and now his body stays on the same plane. That leads to his eyes being more consistent. His bat discipline is there, and he's making more solid contact and seeing the ball a lot better, a lot longer.
All right, Preston. Yeah, the results are, I mean, not that he had an awful year last year, but the results are pretty stunning. Preston, do you see what we talked about earlier, that he's been able to A, slow the game down, and B, slow himself down?
I think the biggest thing that he's done is learn himself. When you're a young player and you have to learn what you're capable of and what you're not capable of. He's learned to taper back the things that he's not as good at, and it eliminates a lot of mistakes. You know, in the past few years, he would make throws that he shouldn't make. He would try to go for balls that he shouldn't. He would try to hit certain pitches that he couldn't. Now he's learning what his hitting zone is in relation to the strike zone. He's been able to put that together with a consistent approach, and you add that with the talent that he naturally has and works at, it leads to the season that you see right now.
Yeah, you saw last year. He was hurt last year a lot. Healthy this year. And I think he's got your vote. He's got my vote. Preston, is he your MVP?
Yes, he is my MVP. If you talk about the batting average, the on-base percentage, the slugging, what he's been able to do in this lineup without having a lot of protection around him this year, he's definitely the odds-on favorite for MVP in the National League.
And the last guy to put up the slash line, batting average, on base, and slugging, better than Harper's, was Bonds in 04. Little tapper, Cozart off the mound. He's going to go to first and get the out and get out of the inning. Nicely done. 3 have passed here in D.C. It's 2-2. Most valuable players. All right, your candidates with Harper at the head of the class. Goldschmidt, McCutchen, Rizzo's had a great year. Zach Greinke, some want Cespedes on there. But as we talked about, no, the traditional numbers are down there. But you go to on-base percentage and slugging percentage, and Harper is above and beyond everybody else. Roark gets to the bag, and Ozuna.
One of these days, Marcell Ozuna is going to hit a first pitch hard. It's one thing if you have that aggressive first pitch approach and hit a line drive somewhere. But when you continually hit a ball off the end of the bat, get jammed, hit a weak pop fly, then you have to rethink your approach at the plate.
Should the approach be sharpened to fastball in a location?
Yes. You can't tell me he was looking for that pitch he just hit.
There's Dietrich, who takes a changeup for a strike.
One more thing on Bryce Harper, Rich.
Dietrich and Worth is there and makes the catch. Still a really good outfielder is Jason Worth.
Yes, he is. Bryce Harper, there's just a handful of players in the history of the game under 23 that had 40 home run seasons. Bryce Harper, obviously one of them. Juan Gonzalez, Johnny Bench, Eddie Matthews twice, Joe DiMaggio, and Mel Ott.
That's great company. Mathis swings and misses. In-game box score for Miami. D. Gordon's 2 for 2. Martin Prado a 2-run homer. And not much after that, save a Derek Dietrich single. Roark in a little bit of a groove right now.
Roark's always pitched well in this ballpark, too. He's had 18 starts. He's appeared in 37 games, but an ERA about 2.5 at Nationals Park. Tanner Roark, drafted by Texas back in 2008.
Mathis goes down. Roark throws 8 pitches in that 4th inning. A quick one. It's brought to you by your local Chevy dealers. Visit your South Florida Chevy dealers today. By Checkers, Epic Meals, Epic Deals. and by Hotel The Walk, in theaters September 30th. (2-2) Marlins and Nationals. Abe in his house. Nice beard. And of course, one of the best in sports is Jason Worth for facial hair. Werewolves of London.
That's it.
Warren
That's a great
Zevon.
walk-up song.
His walk-up song. Worth walked back in the second. And that runs his streak to 26 consecutive games of getting on base at least once. Swing and a miss at a breaking ball, and Real Muto picks it up, tags him out. Nice pitch by Jared Kozart.
When you see Kozart getting hitters to chase that curveball that way, you know he's, number one, he set him up well, and then has that good sharp break to it. You know, Jared Kozart's maternal grandfather pitched briefly in the major leagues. Ed Donnelly, 1959, appeared in some games with the Chicago Cubs. So a little bit of baseball in Kozart's background.
When he's on it, that pitch right there, that fastball that lives at the knees, that he's able to spot on both sides of the plate.
And that's what Jeff Mathis talked about before the game with us, to make sure that fastball in and out, both sides of the plate. He's got some movement on it. To me, he's got that prototype pitcher's body and a perfect windup. Stands tall. He's got a little pause, a little hesitation at the top.
Almost a little wiggle, too, on the pause.
Right there's the pause. And then explodes at you.
Count full 3-2. That was a called strike. D. Gordon gobbles it up and gets the out at first base. South Florida Honda dealers, get you ready for what should be a really entertaining pitching matchup tomorrow night. Anytime you get Jose Fernandez on the mound, that's cool. The fact that Max Scherzer is the opponent, that's even better. That's tomorrow night. Craig Minervini, Carl Pavano, a Game 2 preview on Marlins Live pregame. Breaking ball, Kozart gets a strike from Desmond. Kind of the usual suspects have hurt the Marlins with the long ball in 2015. Bryce Harper's hit 6th. Ian Desmond's hit 4. Wilmer Flores has hit 5. And Jason Hayward, that's the impressive one because he's not in the division. Hayward hit 4. John Chimchuk is our baseball historian. High atop Nationals Park with us. Our perch up here.
It's a good way to put it.
That is what we are looking at. And that actually looks closer on camera than our bird's eye view. For whatever reason, when the Nationals built this ballpark, they put the broadcast level on the 8th floor. I mean, the 8th floor. See, this is us way up here.
Here we are.
But way, way down there is a long ways.
You know, I was just looking, Rich, with Jose pitching tomorrow night. Jose Fernandez in his career 3-0 with an 0.58 ERA against the Nationals in 5 starts, but he's never pitched against the Nationals here.
Ramos waiting, 3-2. Desmond hit his 18th in the second.
Boy, the Pittsburgh Pirates, Rich, got some bad news today. They had a day game. They actually lost 3 out of 4 to the Cubs, but they lost Jung Ho Kang for the rest of the season.
That was a Chris Coghlan slide trying to break up a double play. A strike 3 called. And Desmond goes down and Cozart gets the strikeout. We'll update you on that when we return. That's right on the black. Still 2-2. MLB Whip Around on Fox Sports 1. Highlights, analysis, live look-ins from around the league. 7 Eastern on Fox Sports 1. Streams live on Fox Sports Go. Got the cool music as well. (2-2) Marlins Nationals here in D.C. Night falling a lot sooner, certainly here in September, than the last time the Marlins were here.
Gorgeous day, gorgeous evening.
That's a shot down the third base line into the corner. Miguel Rojas races for second. Would that be a ringing double, Tommy?
Absolutely. Remember, Rojas came into the game a little defensive move last night, but was able to single sharply kind of in that same area. Ringing double.
For whatever reason, that seems to fit with double more than single, right? You don't hear ringing single or triple. Cozart trying to move Rojas up. Now, the Nationals defensively held their third baseman, Escobar. They brought Robinson from first rather quickly. Rojas being held by Desmond out at second.
Good play over the dugout by Martin Prado. That'll help his range factor.
You can see the Nationals defense. Cozart squares. There's the bunt, and it's a good one right out in front of the plate. That's a Rojas, safe passage to third. And up comes Dee Gordon. All he has done is smack 2 hits.
Boy, great job all around by Jarred Cozart with 2 strikes, especially to get that bunt down and move Rojas over to third. Now the job isn't complete though unless you get that run in.
And the infield's coming in trying to choke off the run. 2 for 2 is Gordon. We could go on all night about the superlatives for Gordon this season. He has 53 multi-hit games. That leads the National League. Oh, and he was thinking about bunting. Escobar creeping in at third. Gordon on the road. Gordon against lefties. Gordon overall. All the numbers are good. Pitch is in. 53 multi-hit games, Tommy, and 4th consecutive for Gordon.
Amazing. I mean, on the road over 300, at home over 300. 356 against lefties. He was 4 for 4 against left-handers in that series at Citi Field.
Lifts that one to left. That'll get the run home. Back goes Worth. Makes the catch. Runner tags. Rojas is in. And Miami has a 3-2 lead. And another terrific at bat by Dee Gordon.
It was opposite field. And that ball carried, I guarantee, a lot further than many thought. But it all started, the leadoff double, the terrific bunt by Cozart, and a fly ball certainly deep enough. Chases Worth near the warning track. Nicely done.
Here is Yelich. Gordon is also within eye shot, so to speak, of 200 hits. Last second baseman in the National League with 200 hits, Tommy Hutton. Can you name him?
Let's see. I'm going to. 70s, in the 70s?
No. 2004 is the season.
How about Craig Biggio?
No. National League. Yelich fouls that one off his foot. He's hard to. This is not an easy one. I'll give you. He played in the National League West.
I was gonna maybe throw out a Chase Utley, but National League West.
And remember, it's 04, so I don't know that Utley was in full flight. It's not Jeff Kent either.
All right, I give up. Give it to me.
All right, and look, we could go on all night. Mark Loretta.
Mark Loretta with San Diego.
208 in 2004.
He was with San Diego, correct?
Yes. You will get some fine parting gifts, Tommy. Fastball is up. And a copy of our home game.
Get 3 free Uber rides.
Yeah. How'd you know? And Christian Yelich rolls it into center field. Yelich 1 for 3 tonight. That gives Prado an at bat. By the way, we both watched that slide by Chris Coghlan. Jung Ho Kang out with the injury, and for Kang it sounds pretty extensive.
Yeah, he's certainly going to be out the rest of the year.
Torn MCL and a fractured tibia.
He was a big part of their offense. Jordy Mercer will play there, but not quite the offensive player Kang has been.
It looked like a good hard baseball slide.
Coghlan could catch the bag. You always wonder if he's wavering from that. It looked like he could get to the bag. I thought Kang was in front of the bag, and a lot of it may have been with the shift that they were playing at the time. I'd have to see it a little bit more.
You know, that's a good point, and not that it applies to that play, but it's what goes unnoticed about the shift is it moves shortstops over on the second base side,
which is where he was.
Third baseman over on that side, second baseman on shortstop side, and it can make for some awkward double play attempts. 1-1.
Prado up the middle into center field. That's a base hit. Yelich will stop at second. Taylor has it quickly. And that buys an at bat with 2 on for Justin Bour.
Boy, Prado just continues to put good at bat after good at bat.
Why has he had success in the 3 spot?
That's one of those things you never know.
Because maybe then coincidence. But the coincidence is he moves into the 3 spot and he's just gone off.
I think a couple of things, maybe not to put him in the 3 spot, but remember when he went on the disabled list, the tumble beyond first base and the injured shoulder. When he came back, I think it took a while for him to get back in a groove and get back into that solid swing that he has.
Here's Bour. Prado himself has said that he went back to doing a couple of drills that whenever he had slumped in past years, refined his swing, simplified his swing. Those things always seem to get him back going, and it worked again this year. Bour sitting at 0-2 now. Nationals bullpen is starting to move around. Tanner Roark. 0-2 in. You know, you really do need a program and a scorecard with all the relievers the Nats have down in that bullpen. I mean, that's Matt Grace, the lefty you've just seen, but the page in the notes that has their relievers is bigger than some teams have for their hitters. It's like they need to build an annex.
Yeah, that's something that I know you and I have talked about has to change.
14 relievers, 19 active pitchers. Justin Bour, get out of here. A drive to right, and Bour has done it again. A 3-run shot, and Miami stretches their lead. The kid out of George Mason comes home and puts Miami up 6-2.
The big guys hit some no-doubters, too. The one last night at Citi Field in New York. This one, an absolute shot. Had it had a little more elevation, would have gotten to that second deck, but bat speed, exit speed, whatever you want to say, that ball was hit hard by Justin Bour, number 18 on the year.
And there's that belly slap that Bour has started and that the rest of his team has kind of picked up on. He knew it with that short, sweet, powerful swing. Ozuna strikes out on a breaking ball. And Miami scores 4 times, 3 across on Justin Bour's 18th. bounce that belly, the belly tap that Bohr has started has kind of spread around. You know, Bohr was the original guy. He's got the big belly. Tom Kohler got into it. Tom Kohler's dad got into it. Dee Gordon got into it. And then Bohr homered last night, and Dee did it to Bohr. So that's fun. I mean, there are some things that the younger players, guys like Bohr, have picked up on, and that this ball club has carried over. Now, where did that come from? Well, if you've ever watched Pitch Perfect, you know that Fat Amy is the character that Rebel Wilson plays. And whenever anything went well for her in Pitch Perfect, she would smack her belly.
I did not know Rebel was a lefty.
I did not either.
Yeah, it's things like that, and obviously winning helps things like that. But the belly grab, it just brings the team together, and you see how important Martin Prado has been with a lot of that, with the throwing the ball around the infield.
Hey, the Marlins have a habit on the third out of an inning. They can't leave the field,
even if it's into the outfield.
Yeah. They can't leave the field until Martin Prado gets the ball. So we saw it in this ball game and the other night, even more so. Marcell Ozuna caught a ball right at the start of the warning track and came up firing. It was 3 outs, and I'm sure there were people in the ballpark at Citi Field that saw it and said, well, he forgot how many outs there were. No, he was firing it to Prado at third base.
And I know when you and I had a talk with Martin back home, that was one of the things he talked about. Just doing a little something like that brings the team together. And then winning a few games, getting some big hits, some nice pitching performances, that all helps too.
Cozart misses up to Michael Taylor. Bottom third of the order for the Nationals. And of course, he's got the glove that he's been using in the big leagues for the last 6 or 7 years. He wasn't quite sure. It's only the second gamer he's had as a professional. The other one he used through the minor leagues and into his first years as an Atlanta Brave. He's put as much leather restoration product on it, patched it, relaced it, still working on it right now. Remember, Troy Tulowitzki had his college glove that he used early in his big league career. He called it the Creature because it was so old and decrepit. A 1-out walk to Taylor. Geico presents this Marlin moment. This day in Marlins history, Pat Rapp tossed a complete game, one hitter. He walked one and struck out 7 at Coors Field. Here's the irony, Tommy Hutton, of this date in Marlins history. You throw a one hitter at Coors Field, you've done something, right?
Absolutely.
The very next year, on the same date, is when Hideo Nomo threw a no-hitter at Coors Field. Same date.
That's amazing.
Rapp goes a one-hitter on the 17th of September in '95, and Nomo did it a year later.
The Rapper had the good breaking ball going, I'm sure, that day. Wilmer Defoe, the pinch hitter.
Pat Rapp is always will live in infamy for me because I've got a good friend who went to an auction and came home smiling and tossed me the ball and said, look, I got a Pete Rose ball for $30. And upon further review, I said, I think that's Pat Rapp.
Always look at that autograph closely.
One of my college teammates. Check swing, ball bounces off of Mathis, then the back wall. Taylor now in scoring position with 1 out. It's a wild pitch. This is a game you're going to want to see tomorrow. Jose Fernandez against Max Scherzer. Cozart, Mathis, Rojas.
Yeah, remember Scherzer's last start after he had struggled over his previous few. His last start against the Marlins, 8 shutout innings.
Wilmer Defoe getting the at bat here. Doug Fister ready in the bullpen, so it looks like he'll come in for Roark, and down goes Defoe.
Jeff Mathis done a good job staying with that curveball, calling it. And then Cozart a good job making a good pitch to strike out Defoe.
The Dodgers have designated Matt Latos for assignment. That one of the baseball headlines. On this September 17th. 2015. In the air to right. It's hit pretty well. Back goes Ozuna at the track. He makes the catch. And that'll do it for the Nationals in the 5th. Jared Cozart in a nice groove. There you go. Got to have it to Prado before you leave the diamond. Chicks dig the long ball, and so do the Marlins and the Nationals. All but 1 run on a home run and a 6-2 lead for Miami with Tommy Hutton, Preston Wilson, Rich Waltz with you. It is clear and 77 in our nation's capital tonight. And the 6th inning sees tall right-hander Doug Fister on the mound. Fister out of the bullpen after being moved out of the rotation.
Yeah, he's had 7 relief appearances. Last 3 times out, he's done a nice job. 5 1/3 innings. He's not allowed a run.
Dietrich, a single and a line drive out. Great catch by Worth. Robbed him of a hit in the 4th. Jeff Mathis, Miguel Rojas after that, and Dietrich waits on that off-speed pitch, bangs it into right. Harper catches up with it. Marlins have had good swings here tonight. That really carries over from what we saw in New York City Field. 6 runs on 12 hits last night. on Tuesday night, 9 runs on 15 hits. And that was against DeGrom on Tuesday and Cologne last night. Two guys that have had some nice run for the Mets.
The Marlins are getting some nice production out of the rotation of the 4 outfielders. Each row has had his share of base hits. So Ozuna's gotten some hits when Dietrich gets in. And those are the guys that have kind of been rotated. And of course, Christian Yelich, kind of the staple.
Mathis lands that one foul.
And Yelich over the last 3 months has had a batting average of 300 plus.
Mathis's career numbers against Doug Fister. You get a sense, Tommy, that someone will fit Doug Fister into their rotation next year. If you just look at the track record he's had as a starting pitcher, Kyle Barraclough in Miami's pen.
I think he'd be a good fit for a lot of clubs.
Fister 16 wins last year. Actually picked up a save in the 11th inning in Philly 3 days ago. He's pitched well out of the pen. Full count, 3-2. Let's see if maybe Dietrich's on the move with a 4-run lead. Not moving. And Mathis pops it up. Ramos. And there's one out. In that game in which Jung Ho Kang was hurt, the Cubs beat the Pirates by a score of 9-6. And that tightens up that race for home field advantage for the 1-game wild card playoff game. Puts the Cubs 2 behind the Pirates. There was your hit and run. Dietrich running and Rojas trying to hit.
You knew with the lead and with the 2 players involved that it was imminent possible hit and run.
Toronto has jumped Atlanta 4-0 early in the bottom of the 5th. Of course, that Blue Jay team just trying to stay ahead of the Yankees. New York 3 back. Toronto first place in the East. Running again, hitting again, and Fister's going to go to second. Out there and out there. I don't know if Rojas got a late start out of the box, but Fister, with a bit of a gamble, Rendon surprised, made the turn, and got the out. 17 All-Star Game at Marlins Park. It's by placing your 2016 Marlins season ticket deposit down today. Season ticket plan started just $499. 1-877 Marlins. Go to marlins.com/tickets.
It's an interesting inning for Jarred Cozart. He's at 84 pitches. I'm sure at one point he thought he was done for the evening. Had the double play not been turned. Remember, Bearclaw was loosening up. He was ready in the bullpen. And so a pitcher now has to mentally get himself right back in the game. And Cozart has to go out there and try to complete this inning.
Escobar had a weird at bat back in the third on a pitch that came up and in. At first glance and first replay, it looked like it hit off his hand or shoulder. He appeared to be dazed. He had lost his bearings. Center field, Yelich is there, and he makes the catch. As it turned out, it didn't hit him. It hit the umpire. Watch this. It looks like it hit the bat or hit his hand, and that was the first replay look. Escobar whipped his head around, and maybe that, Tommy, is what did it for Escobar. He reaches up to his head as he falls back. He did get attention from the training staff. They tended to him for a good 2 minutes, and he stayed in the ballgame. But the other angle that we had showed that the ball clearly didn't hit him. It glanced off Mathis's glove and hit the mask of Angel Hernandez.
Well, with Bryce Harper tonight, 0 for 2. He's at .337. D. Gordon, 2 for 2, is at .335.
Gordon has a sacrifice fly along with those 2 hits. Harper hit a ball extremely hard in the first. A liner that Yelich snared. That is wide of the bag. Houston and the Rangers still scoreless in the third. Blue Jays 4-0 over the Braves in the sixth. Kansas City's beating Cleveland 4-2. Cleveland staying in it and hanging in, but losing right now in the fifth. The Rays lead Baltimore 1-0, bottom 6.
Prince Fielder has had an unbelievable series in that Houston-Texas series. Prince Fielder with the Rangers in the first 3 games, 8 for 13 with 3 home runs and 8 RBIs.
That looked like it hit right on the guard.
Hit on the guard. Still hurts, but been a lot worse if he didn't have that shin guard.
I wonder if there's any way to gauge the exit speed for that off of Harper's bat. I mean, just to see how hard is it traveling when it hits you.
Oh, hit another one. Oh,
I don't know if it hit the shin or the foot this time.
I think this one was down a little lower. What that does, it gives you a good idea of how sharply that breaking ball at curveball is. That one's on the instep. The curveball at Jarred Cozart.
Count is 1-2. Preston Wilson, the guards on the feet seem to have come into vogue over the last 10-15 years. What's changed about hitting and pitching where guys are doing that? We'll get your answer in a second. Long run, Dietrich, and he's not going to get there. He'll pick it up, and that's a hit for Harper. Marlins were playing him in the gap in left center, and Dietrich never got there.
Well, that's frustrating. I'm sure Jarred Cozart's a little frustrated. He had a pretty good pitch. He got the lazy fly ball, a lot of hang time, but you can see how far Dietrich had to come. So that's when, all right, defense alignment kind of got a hit for Bryce Harper that time.
Then we go down to Preston Wilson. So, Press, it seems to me in the last 15 years, more guys foul pitches off their foot, instep, knees, than they did 20, 25, 30 years ago. You buy that? And if so, what's your reasoning?
Well, I think one of the main components is the cutter has been more in vogue for pitchers. I know Mariano Rivera, Al Leiter, guys like that who started throwing the cutter. I started seeing more guys foul balls off their leg, off their instep, just because that ball's running in and you're trying to get the barrel to it and you end up swinging over it and fouling it off your leg.
So, Preston, you played in the 90s and in the 2000s, right?
Yes, correct.
All right, Hut, you played in the 60s, 70s, and part of the 80s. Did you see guys wearing guards at that time a lot?
A little bit, but not too much.
Worth into right field. Ozuna hustling has it. Harper's going to third. Ozuna's throw is there, and he's out. Marcell Ozuna guns down Bryce Harper.
Boy, there's that right fielder's arm. It's amazing because I go back to the game Ozuna had against the Mets a couple of years ago. He threw a couple of guys out from left field. His arm is a right fielder's arm. It's a cannon. Harper with a couple of looks. He knows that Ozuna has a strong arm. Not only is that strong, it is absolutely perfect. It's perfect. Wow.
I had an unbelievable.
Is he out or is he safe?
Did he get the tag before he got the hand on?
He may have had the hand in there.
That's close. Either way, it still was a perfect throw by Ozuna.
And the Nationals are going to challenge this.
That was so much fun to be able to watch that throw come in. I'm right in the third base camera well, so I'm right in line with the throw and the runner to see Ozuna pick that ball up. The exchange when he got it from glove to arm to throwing hand side, to see the accuracy to put it right on the bag and to see the base runner and the ball arrive at about the same time. That's about as much excitement as you can get at one play at the field level right here.
First look. Boy, he kind of goes out of focus. But it looks like the hand or the tag never got to him before the hand hit the bag. Now it has to be definitive to overturn.
We've seen 2 or 3, and I don't know if we've seen a definitive look yet.
Would you agree the tag did look late?
Yeah. But yeah, Preston's right down there. He saw all of that coming right at him. Now that looks like he got him.
Yeah, it did.
That's such a close play. You know, every now and then we see a play that an umpire has to make that bang decision on, and you understand how hard it is to make those types of calls. You got the ball coming in from behind the runner. You got the runner sliding in at a slight angle, coming around, rounding second, going to third, and you have the third baseman trying to catch the ball and apply that tag very quickly to convert that out, and it's all happening in milliseconds.
Young umpire Adam Hamari is the third base umpire.
That is a now there it looks closer.
For me, on that angle, it looks like he's out. On the other ones, it didn't look like you could tell.
I'd like to give the umpire credit too, because a lot of times they get caught out of position. Third base umpire Adam Hamari was right there on top of that play, was in the perfect position to try to make that call.
Yeah, good call, Preston. Good call.
And guys, we've looked at it 4 or 5 times from 3 different angles, and I don't think any of us can definitively say one way or the other. That's how hard that job is. Everything we looked at was in slow motion. He got one look at it in real time.
And this one is taking a while for the fellas back at the command center in New York.
Okay, from this angle, it looks like tag gets there late. It almost looks like the glove didn't get the elbow. But the lower third angle looks like the glove caught the elbow.
Yeah, on the lower third angle, you can see his elbow. Watch his elbow. There, right there. It bends. You can see it bend a little bit when the glove gets it. But even hard to tell from that angle, was his hand on the bag.
Yeah, you're right. Did the hand get there before the bend of the elbow?
If you're a fan of baseball, there's so many things that were done well in that play. I'll give you another component. Look at Bryce Harper slide towards the outfield side of third base to make Prado have to go further to make that tag and to give him a better chance of sneaking in there to be safe.
Yeah, you're right. That's all part of it. It really is. And Harper's speed, his instincts. He got a clean and good jump from first. And remember, Harper just banged a ball off his shin and a ball off his foot. And he just went from first to third on that ball to right. Full out, no limp, no hesitation. Here's the decision. Safe.
Wow.
It's a big call.
It'll also maybe put the ball in the court of Dan Jennings whether or not he wants to stay with Cozart or make a change. One out. Got a chance to get a double play, though. He's staying with it.
Well, he's going to keep the ball in Cozart's court. Clint Robinson, infield, looks for two with one out. One of the things that Cozart has going for him in this spot is he does get ground balls. And a ground ball can get him out of the inning.
There's that nasty curveball.
Ball and a strike. Nationals are in desperation mode. 7.5 behind the Mets. There's the bouncer. Bohr comes to get it. Got a play between third and home. Harper is hung up in the rundown. Mathis will tag him out. The Nationals with runners at first and second. Nicely done by Justin Bohr. He did not panic. And the Marlins get that out.
That's what I loved. He didn't panic at all. As he came in to get this ground ball, a couple things going through his mind. Where do I have a play? Okay, best shot is probably as he peeks out of the corner of his eye and he sees where Harper is. That's my best shot. And he runs at Harper, which you're taught to do. And just like that, a 3-5-2 fielder's choice.
Desmond fouls it off.
Bohr really didn't have a play at second. Would have been a tough play to turn and flip to get the out at first. So the out was right in front of him, Bryce Harper.
Desmond, though, a dangerous hitter and could change the game with a swing, much like he did in the second when he tied the game at 2 with a line drive homer to left. That just darted outside. Ramos on deck. Worth at second, Robinson at first. He lost that fastball up. It's 3-1. Now remember, Cozart's pitch count hasn't been this high yet. Probably his last hitter.
I would agree.
Let's see what makes him tough on that pitch, Tommy. Barrel claw's ready. It's a 3-1 pitch. He's throwing a fastball, but that thing probably slid laterally about 3-4 inches.
Because Desmond, who's a terrific fastball hitter, he was looking for the fastball as well.
Runners on the move, 3-2 with 2 outs.
This is interesting because I was thinking to myself, does he go with that fastball again? Or do the two of them think, all right, he's thrown some really good curveballs. They probably both know it's going to be the last pitch, whatever happens that Cozart throws, unless it's fouled off. Does he go with the curveball here?
Fastball, fly ball right. Ozuna on the track, makes the catch, and launches a long throw to Prado all the way down to third. Nicely done by Jarred Cozart. 6-2 Marlins. The exclusive loyalty program of Miami Marlin fans is the Fish Family program. You get bonus points for watching our telecast here on the road on Fox Sports Florida. And tonight's code is GoFish. There you go. GoFish. Marlins.com/fishfamily. Ichiro will pinch hit. And the first pitch he sees, he pops in the air to left. Desmond there to gather it in. So 1 out here in the 7th inning. Doug Fister still in there for the Nationals. Into the line for Jarred Cozart, but I don't know that Miami could have asked any more out of him. Nationals have won 4 straight. Their bats have really come alive. And Cozart goes 6 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs. 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. Gordon's 2 for 2 with a sacrifice fly.
23 base hits against the Nationals. Of course, the team just left New York. 35 against the Mets this year. I thought that was a tremendous number. Most hits against the Mets in a single season ever. Roberto Clemente was on that list. Andre Dawson, Juan Pierre, Maury Wills. But they were fewer hits than D. Gordon's 35.
Vada Pinson on that list back in 1965.
Preston Wilson and I talking about Vada Pinson, a very, I think, underappreciated, underrated player. A former Marlin coach.
Gordon's ground ball is going to find Robinson, who gets to the bag and gets the out. Marlin saw Tanner Roark right out of the gates. Roark 5 innings, 8 hits and 6 runs. A 3-run homer to Justin Bour. That another bolt to right. And then Prado's 2-run homer. That started the scoring. Yelich takes in. Another hit for Yelich, cracked right back into center field. So he's hit the ball hard tonight. He's 2 for 4. And he's aboard with 2 outs, and here comes Prado.
We talked about it earlier, Rich, the improvement of Christian Yelich. How over the last 3 months now his average is over 300. And so much of that early in the year was that lower back issue. But from June and then look at July, August, September, each of those months over 300.
Prado 2 for 3, the homer and a single. Mets are idle tonight. They've got the Yankees coming into Citi Field for a 3-game weekend Subway Series.
Let's see, tomorrow night it'll be Masahiro Tanaka against the young lefty Steven Matz.
I guess if you don't have a Subway, say when the Dodgers and the Angels play, becomes a freeway series.
That's the freeway series, yeah.
What do they call the White Sox and the Cubs?
South side against the north side.
Is that the Uber series?
PL?
That's right.
Maybe. What would Washington want to be the Beltway? Beltway series.
Battle of the Beltway.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what it's called, but it sounds good.
Remember they had St. Louis and Kansas City. It was the was it I-75 or I-85?
It was an interstate.
It was an interstate.
I'm not sure which one it was. I-70.
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 I added 5.
Oh, there they are, Tommy, lurking. The presidents. Abe. It's one of those Prado at bats that we've seen this last month, where he feeds 5 or 6 balls into the seats.
Yeah, you don't want to leave your seat if you know Martin Prado's coming up. Got a chance to get a foul ball, souvenir.
One and 2. Bour is on deck. Six runs on 10 hits for Miami. Robinson has it, gets to the bag, and Miami is done. 7th inning stretch in DC, 6-2 Marlins. Nationals Park all lit up. So is Washington, D.C. And tomorrow night we'll be here and you can be there. And a sign saying, "Hi, Rich and Tommy." Or, I digress, it's Tommy and Rich. Sorry about that. It's a Corona Light Marlins.
It should be Rich and Tommy.
Marlins watch party is tomorrow night. It's at Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill in Key Largo. Doesn't that sound like a great place? Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill in Key Largo. Everyone's hair will be perfect. Marlins National 705. Win tickets, upcoming games, raffle prizes, beat Billy, the Energy Team, Corona Light specials. For more info, go to marlins.com. That was a shot of our last watch party.
Yeah, good friends Bruce and Susan there with the sign.
Carolina Ale House in Weston. Kyle Barraclough on the mound, and Ichiro stays in the game. He's in left. And the Marlin bullpen needs 9 outs trying to protect a 4-run lead. Ramos, Michael Taylor, Doug Fister's spot. Gordon to first. When the Marlins took 2 of 3 from the Nationals in Miami, it was the starters and especially the bullpen that had a great series.
The bullpen was just outstanding. You look at the earned run average in those games, the 3 games, at 13 and 2/3, so almost 14 innings, a 1.32 ERA.
Taylor takes up. Barraclough, the hard-throwing right-hander from Northern California.
We have to really feel good about the last 2 starts of Jared Cozart, both against this Nationals club. 5 innings, 4 hits, no runs in Miami. Tonight, 6 innings, 3 hits, and 2 runs. And it's amazing, Rich, when you string together quality starts. Nicolino, Kohler, Conlon, Cozart tonight. You go back to that 3-game series in New York. What that can do for you.
What Kyle Barraclough can do for you out of the bullpen this year. has been impressive in his rookie campaign.
Just a good fastball, freezes Taylor, and it was in the strike zone.
Matt Den Decker ends up getting the at-bat. Former Gator. Oh, 1-1. But Bearclaw really popping the glove. 97 with that fastball. He's powerfully built, got a very strong lower half.
He has a good slider to go along with it. We did see a couple of change-ups before, but it's really his third pitch. And a nice inning for Kyle Bearclaw.
A 1-2-3 inning for Kyle Bearclaw. 6-2 Fish. High def highlights.
Yeah, you know what? Rich and I dig the long ball too, and we'll show you one from Martin Prado that put the Marlins up 2-zip. But the long ball came back to bite him a little bit. Ian Desmond, his 10th career home run against Miami. We're not done. We're not done. Back-to-back nights, Prado and Bohr have gone deep. Justin Bohr's a 3-run shot, his 18th home run of the year, and the Marlins sit nicely with a 6-2 lead.
3 home runs last night in New York in a 6-0 shutout of the Mets. Matt Grace finally out of the Nationals pen. He takes over for Doug Fister. And again, we noted the Nationals are in desperation mode. Every game has to be treated like an elimination game at this point. Just over 2 weeks to play. They're 7.5 back of the Mets. Bohr takes that one in. And so Tanner Roark went 5, and Doug Fister 2.
4 career home runs now for Justin Bohr in this ballpark.
Can you imagine what fun the Marlins will have once Giancarlo Stanton is back? If these two guys are together and Bohr continues to swing it like he's swinging it.
Go ahead. As we've talked about it, it gives you that legitimate power, which is not easy to find.
Not in this day and age. Bohr spins around on the swing and strikes out. couple of games to talk about. First in Texas, where the Rangers have a 1.5 game lead over Houston, and they're ending their series tonight. Mitch Moreland hit a 3-run homer. Texas took a 3-0 lead. It's now 3-1, top 4.
So Texas trying to make it, what, 4 in a row against Houston? Wow.
In Minnesota, where the Twins, kind of everybody's darling, as you see Matt Williams on his way out. He'll make a pitching change. The Twins are playing the Angels, both teams hanging in the wild card in the American League. Minnesota got 5 in the first. The Angels got 6 in the second. 6-5, bottom 2. Grace is out. West Kendall Toyota. Call to the bullpen. And he's out of there. But this fan is not out of there, Tommy. This fan is actually in there. Our T-Mobile Data Strong fan of the game. Nelly. Not that Nelly, but that Nelly. Along with Justin Bour.
Look at that. Good picture.
Rafael Martin is in, and that one is fouled back. Tommy Hutton the other night in one of his, it was actually a subdued rant. It was a rant, but it was, you were calm and cool and gave it the gusto when you needed it. Liner to right. It's going to be by Harper and into the bullpen. And Ozuna's got himself a double. It was that Dodger-Rocky game that set you off, right? 24 pitchers worked in that game.
Yeah, absolutely ridiculous.
And
I believe the Rockies used 12 relief pitchers.
You're still seething over that one a little bit.
A little bit.
Now, what was your reaction when you looked at the lineup card today and found that the Nationals have 19 pitchers, 14 relief pitchers in uniform for this game?
I didn't have room to put them all down.
Casey McGee.
Yeah, Casey pinch hitting for Bearclaw. Bearclaw in the double switch in this spot of the order.
McGee trying to stay sharp as a pinch hitter. And as luck would have it, and it's rotten luck, Casey seems to get a pinch hitting appearance, hit a line drive to right or a line drive to center. And just like that, he's 0 for his last 10, and that can stretch over a week and a half. I mean, you can take all the batting practice you want, but nothing will simulate a major league at bat. And yet still McGee's hit it hard, but not much to show. He lays off that slider.
Yeah, it's not an easy position to be in. You have to sit and think about those at bats for a while.
That is strike 3 call. Breaking ball. And there are 2 outs. Here comes Mathis. Another slider from Martin. Cardinals are shutting out Milwaukee 5-0. And if they win that ball game, they get another game between themselves and the Pirates. As we noted, the Cubs beat the Pirates 9-6. That would make it a 5-game lead in the Central. Foul tip in that Brewers game. Starting pitcher Jimmy Nelson was hit on the back of the head by a line drive off the bat of Tommy Pham of the Cardinals in the 3rd inning. Fell to the ground, was down for a minute, walked off the field on his own power. We hope that he's okay. Mathis goes down. 6-2. This game's headed to the bottom of the 8th in DC. Aces on the mound. Max Scherzer, Jose Fernandez. 6:30 for Marlins Live. 7 o'clock game here in DC on a Friday night. Jose Fernandez, the new blue glove. Max Scherzer, who is capable of putting up big strikeout numbers every night he throws. Marlins Live post game after this one. We will hear from Jose Fernandez. Brian Ellington in for Miami.
Here's another thing, Rich, that's falling into place a lot better. The consistency in how Dan Jennings can use that bullpen. Seems like he has bear claw for that 7th inning. In the 8th, we've seen Ellington or Mike Dunn. Then, of course, that sets it up if it's a save situation for A.J. Ramos. Who, by the way, A.J., I talked to him the last 2 nights. He's gotten himself ready, but the Marlins have scored late and taken it out of a save situation, so he hasn't come in the game.
But at least he's been able to throw and get some work and come close to keeping himself sharp. This is an 0-2 to Rendon, leading off for the Nationals. Yunel Escobar, Bryce Harper, due up bottom 8. This game became a 6-2 game when Miami got 4 runs in the 5th. That was a D. Gordon sac fly and a Justin Bour bomb. Late swing by Rendon. There's Ramos.
That's a little deceptive because of the times warmed up and ready to go.
Rendon knocks one into right. Here is Escobar. Game number 146 for the Nationals. 16 left after this. They are 7.5 back. Oh, and 1. An 8-game streak that he's not extended tonight. Marlins, on the other hand, looking for win number 64. They have won 11 of 15.
You make the right pitch to him here, you can get that double play ball. He leads their club. Escobar has hit into 22 double plays.
That's a good pitch right at the knees. And right on the black. And when it's 98, that location, it's really tough to go get it. It may have just been off the black, but it's pretty darn close. Two balls, 2 strikes.
There's those grounded into double play numbers.
Out to right. Ozuna is there.
You realize, Rich, if the Blue Jays go on and win that game against Atlanta and they're up 5-0 in the 9th inning, it'll be the 26th loss for the Braves in their last 30 games.
Harper is the hitter. And Dan Jennings wants the lefty. Harper against Dunn in his career is 2 for 17. 1 homer, 6 strikeouts. So the matchup favors Dunn. West Kendall Toyota called to the bullpen. Charged with protecting here. He's got Bryce Harper coming up. Those are the career numbers. Dunn versus Harper. Harper actually this season is over 300 against lefties, and 7 of his 40 homers have come against lefties.
First game of that series in Miami. Marlins 2-1 win. That was also Jared Cozart's start. Mike Dunn came in the 7th inning, a couple of men on base, and was able to strike out Bryce Harper.
Harper and Worth.
I think the one thing, no, there are many things, but it's nice to have a guy like Dunn, who obviously Dan Jennings brings in to pitch to Harper, but he feels comfortable with Dunn pitching to right-handers as well, with Worth on deck.
Just about every number you look at for Harper is impressive. His September numbers are sick, so to speak. 1 for 3 in this one. Harper well over 400 in September. 9 homers, 17 runs in the month of September.
There's that heat. That's a pitch he struck him out on in Miami. Just went right with that fastball. Kept it up in the zone a little bit.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Full count, 3-2. Inning open with Anthony Rendon singling to right. Escobar flied out. Mike Dunn came in to face Harper. Into right field, that's a base hit. Ozuna to it quickly. And the Nationals have life here in the 8th. And now Worth, who belted 2 home runs in Philadelphia last night, is the hitter.
So the 2 guys battling for a batting title, Dee Gordon, Bryce Harper, each with a couple of base hits tonight. Boy, stung that ball to hit it sharply past Gordon.
Tonight, Worth has walked, struck out, singled. Got that pitch in on the inner half. And it's a ball and a strike. If you're just tuning in, Miami and Washington opening a 4-game series. Brian Morris in Miami's pen. The Marlins on a nice run right now, having just won the series in New York against the Mets, and have won 5 consecutive series, including one against this national team last week back in Miami. Of course, the Nationals have been in a tailspin. It saw them drop 9.5 back in the East. They're 7.5 back now. And that's strike 2 from Dunn. Not as large a crowd as you'd expect coming in, although National fans have kind of been through the ringer over the last week to 10 days, as close as they were to the Mets when the Mets were here for 4.
Well, they had their emotions taken away in that 3-game series against the Mets.
Yeah, they were 4 out, and the Mets swept them. And so it's a large 6-game swing, if you will, because if the Nationals had stayed hot, and they had the lead in every game against the Mets, had they won all 3 games, they would have been 1 game out. And instead, when the Mets pulled up anchor and headed out of town, the Nationals were 7 back. It's 7.5 now, but there's just 16 left to play for the Nationals after tonight.
Yeah, and if you talk to Met fans right now, Rich, they'll tell you they're not going to be satisfied until they see that celebration on the mound.
Yes, well, I mean, you go back to 07. 7.5 game lead with 17 to play, and it didn't happen. That's a pop-up. All 4 infielders converging. Infield fly is called. And Rojas made the catch. Now, if anyone's qualified as a pitcher to make that play, it's Mike Dunn, who was an outfielder originally.
Yeah, drafted by the Yankees. He's a good athlete. I love the way he evacuates. He evacuates, but he does the right thing. Okay, make the call. I'm out of here. But he goes over to cover third because he knows there's no one there. So, yes, he evacuates, but he gets over to third base.
I think I saw him mouth the words, "Peace out," on his way to third. Maybe not. Maybe I misinterpreted.
Another right-handed bat. Tyler Moore pinch hitting for Clint Robinson here.
So Matt Williams has at his disposal tonight a 14-man bullpen. That's not including starters. That's 14 relief pitchers and a 9-man bench, including 3 switch hitters off that bench.
Obviously, in reading so much about this lately, obviously the Player Association, and rightfully so, they don't want to take away service time for guys that get called up for the 1 month. I understand that. So that's where you come into the plan that we talked about. Preston had a good solution. Okay, you can call those guys up. They will get their service time, but you can only have so many activated for a night or for a series.
Ian Desmond is on deck. Moore has power. Miami's lead is 4. With 2 out in the bottom of the 8th inning. You know, I think here's what my hope is, and I think the best angle to put pressure on changing this is the commissioner's pace of play initiative, because it certainly slows down the game. There's more pitching changes, there's more pitch hitting, it just seems to at times just be a never-ending stream of guys coming off the bench, pinch runners.
It's going to be hard to determine if the pace of play initiative helped, because the first 5 months it might be fine, but if you factor in this last month, that may bring it back to just the way it used to be.
And Washington's not the only team to do this. Arizona, Colorado, and the Yankees all have 20 active pitchers. So that's 15 in their bullpen with their 5 starters. Padres and Giants join the Nationals with 19. That one bangs off of Mathis.
And I am sure, Rich, you and I aren't the only ones talking about this.
No, managers are talking about it, because managers that have to manage against it. Say, for example, you have a really good lefty or 2 good lefty situational guys in your bullpen who have been there all year. Suddenly you get to September, and whoever you're playing, whenever you bring that lefty on lefty, whoever you're playing has got 8, 9 guys on the bench. He can bring in a right-handed bat. And it really can change the dynamics of a team. It can help a team. It can hurt a team. Pitch is in. It's 3-2.
And it's something that over the years I think has gotten out of hand. It never used to be this much.
Runners move, foul to the screen. Check yourself before the Marlins Live postgame offering, brought to you by Checkers. Clubhouse reaction highlights. A Justin Bour homer, a Martin Prado blast. 3-2 coming again from Dunn. And he missed. And the bags are loaded. And now the Nationals bring the tying run to the plate. And it's Ian Desmond, who has hurt Miami this year. Remember, we talked about guys that have hit the most homers against the Marlins this year. Desmond on that list, right behind Harper. Brian Morris is in the pen, and Dan Jennings going to go get him. The third reliever to work in the inning is coming in. West Kendall Toyota called to the pen. In D.C., this is a nice city for boating. Ian Desmond for the Nationals with the bags loaded and the Nationals down by 4. This was Desmond, Randi Vision Cam, and that was the second inning, and that tied the game at 2 after Martin Prado hit a 2-run shot. Desmond a 2-run homer.
Desmond with a lifetime average against the Marlins right around 300. And that was career home run number 10 that Desmond has hit against Miami.
Brian Morris, Ian Desmond. Bases filled with Nationals. Rendon, Harper, and Moore. Morris has opened the at-bat with a pair of sliders, and they both have missed. And so if you're Rendon with the bags loaded, you would think you get a fastball here.
And I guarantee that's what he's looking for.
A homer in 5 at-bats. There's the fastball in a perfect spot. Morris, third night in a row he's been used. An inning 2 nights ago in New York, he gave up a couple runs, and then last night got an out.
You can see why Desmond didn't swing at that last fastball. It was perfectly located.
So he just threw the 2 pitches last night.
Been a busy week, though, for Brian Morris.
Again, he puts it right in that spot. Outside part, tough one to pull. Bags loaded in his career. He's been really, really good. Does he stick fastball or go back to the slider?
Fastball.
Just off the plate.
Tried that same pitch.
There's the pattern. He has not come in at all to Desmond. Full count, bags loaded. Morris to Desmond. Breaking ball into center field. That's a base hit. It'll score 2. Rendon across, Harper across, and the Nationals draw within a couple. Quite an at bat by Ian Desmond.
After 3 straight fastballs, Brian Morris went with a slider, but you see how it just backed up and it stayed right there, middle of the plate. Not that sharp breaker he wanted to throw. And give credit to Desmond for having a good AB.
Now Ramos, and with one swing, the Nationals can take the lead. And Ramos has that type of power. He's got 13 homers, 0 for 3 though.
It's been a rough bottom of the 8th. Each reliever, Ellington, Dunn, and now Morris, each reliever given up 1 base hit.
A.J. Ramos.
Got to be a little careful too with Desmond, who has 12 steals. Got to just make him stop. Don't let him get that walking lead over at first base.
And with that workload that we saw with Morris, if he doesn't get Wilson Ramos, you may see A.J. Ramos in the game. Mathis creeps back in, and Morris misses. It's out. Bags are loaded. And you would think you'd see A.J. Ramos here. But remember, the Marlins had Ellington on to start the inning,
which you kind of assumed he might just give you the 8th inning.
But with 1 on and a 4-run lead, Ellington was pulled with Harper up. Mike Dunn came in, Harper doubled. Here comes A.J. West Kendall Toyota called to the pen. The Nationals, you see Ramos' workload, but as we said, he's been heated up a couple times and not brought in because of the game situation.
Yeah, the Tuesday night game, the Wednesday night game, A.J. Ramos had got heated up. Remember the Marlins, though, last night put a couple of runs up on the board in the 9th inning. They did the same the night before on the D. Gordon home run. So then he sat back down.
So Ramos, forget about getting 4 outs. Right now, the importance is just get 1 and keep the lead into the 9th. Trey Turner, who can really fly, is at first, and that's an issue. He's the go-ahead run if a ball ends up in the gap, and it's Michael Taylor who's the hitter. Nationals have rallied for 2 on 3 hits and 2 walks, all singles. Rendon, Harper, and Desmond, and all 3 hits against 3 different pitchers.
So good job by A.J. to come out of the pen and quickly get ahead 0-2. It shouldn't have to be this way. You shouldn't have to use 4 pitchers to get 3 outs, in an inning.
And again, we saw Brian Morris's workload. He has worked a ton this week. Taylor's had a nice rookie campaign, shown a lot of promise. Desmond, good speed at second. The tying run, and down goes Michael Taylor. A.J. Ramos with a sharp hook. The Nationals settle for 2, and it's 6-4 to the 9th. Miami, the Nationals with their 4 runs. Just a quick, precise performance by A.J. Ramos. A nice slider off the plate. This tight rotation.
Got ahead 0-2, expanded the strike zone, got the young hitter to chase it. Job well done by A.J. Ramos.
Tyler Moore is at first base. So he'll stay in. He's at first. Jose Lobaton is behind the plate. And Matt Thornton, the lefty.
They got the left-hander in because after Miguel Rojas, Ichiro, D. Gordon, and Yelich.
There's a bunt push style first base side, and Moore is going to get there and get the tag on Rojas. Goes 3 unassisted, and here comes Ichiro. So for A.J. Ramos, who's hidden deeper in the batting order, he'll have 9-1-2 in the Nationals order.
So that means Bryce Harper will hit 4th next inning, if it gets that far.
Thornton, a guy that had a really nice run with the White Sox in their bullpen. One of those guys that wasn't a lefty specialist. He was in his heyday, a guy that could get righties and lefties out. Ichiro fouls it back. It's been a nice pickup for the Nationals. He was claimed off waivers last August. And since then, get this. This is his 72nd appearance. His ERA is 1.86. Former teammate of Ichiro's at one point, and he throws him out. Actually, a teammate of Ichiro in 2 spots in Seattle and as a Yankee.
We saw a former teammate of Ichiro's from Seattle stop by the booth in New York the other day.
That's right. Thought, you know what?
Or were they teammates?
They were not teammates.
But he was there.
He was a broadcaster, yes, and still is a broadcaster with him. Dave Valley, who was in town for MLB Network assignment. Gordon got sawed off. Desmond has to hurry. He does. Throws high. Is he in? Out at first. High throw brought Moore up. But the first base umpire, Chris Conroy, thought he got back down before Gordon got across. The Marlins will not challenge. Moore up. Moore down.
And he got it.
Gordon out. A.J. Ramos back on the bump. Bottom of the 9th. You by your South Florida Honda dealers and by Kubota. For more information or to find a participating dealer, go to FloridaKubotaDealers.com. Night has fallen in Washington, D.C. Jefferson Memorial. One of the more underrated of the Memorials. Here in D.C., A.J. Ramos, bottom 9. Danny Espinoza pinch hits to lead it off. Miami up a couple. Met fans are hopeful here that the Marlins can beat the Nationals. National fans desperate to keep hope alive. 7.5 back are the Nationals. 16 to play after this one, and Ramos pops in another strike, and it's 0-2.
AJ is firing strikes. Remember, all 3 pitches to Taylor were strikes, and he's gotten ahead 0-2 here at Espinosa.
Top of the order, Anthony Rendon, Yunel Escobar after that. And on that changeup, Espinosa just gets a piece, and he stays alive. Mets are not playing tonight, so it's either 8 back for the Nationals. If they can come back and win it, it's 7 back. And it's getting late September. Just ask Rod Stewart. Here's the 0-2. And it misses outside. 1-2.
It was a good album.
Sorry. I don't want to sound like Chris Berman, but it popped into my head.
It was in my head, too, so don't feel bad.
Once I hit late September, there's no turning back. 1-2. He got him. A.J. Ramos strikes out Espinosa. Now it's up to the top of the order, and Anthony Rendon.
Let's see if it was slider or changeup. Changeup. Changeup gets him to chase. Well, when AJ has all of them working, it's tough to hit him, and it's fun to watch. Look at that. Second only to Aroldis Chapman in relief pitchers' strikeouts.
And they can't be more dissimilar, can they? I mean, Chapman bludgeons you to death with 102 miles an hour. And Ramos certainly doesn't have that velocity, but he's got such variety. He can throw that fastball in the low 90s. His changeup is really good, and he throws a couple different breaking balls.
One a curve, one a slider, a little harder, a little sharper break.
1-1.
How about the other night? I think San Francisco was playing Cincinnati. They had a couple of men on base. Bruce Bochy pinch hit Madison Bumgarner against Chapman, and he drew a walk.
In the air, behind first, Bohr and Gordon and Ozuna, and it's Gordon who makes the catch in fair territory, and there's 2 outs. And it comes down to Ramos and Escobar, and this obviously is the guy that Ramos wants to get and needs to get, because Bryce Harper and his 40 homers are on deck.
The other thing about that man on deck, should he come to the plate, he would represent the tying run.
Escobar 0 for 3 with a walk. And Ramos splits the plate with a fastball. There's the changeup. It's about a 6 to 7 mile an hour differential. The beauty of that pitch, though, is he's got good dive to it.
It moves. It's not just straight.
0-2. Bouncer to third. Martin Prado, ball game, and the Marlins beat the Nationals. 8 back for the Nationals, and Miami continues their really nice September run. 12 of 16 the Marlins have won, 3 in a row here on this road trip. They open a 4-gamer in D.C., and they do it with a 6-4 win, and they do it with the long ball. Martin Prado early with a 2-run shot, and then Justin Bour, a 3-run homer. Warren Henry, drive of the game.
First time in his young career, Jared Cozart has beaten the Nationals, making his 5th start against them tonight. And the big power bat of Justin Bour continues.
Highlights, reaction, Preston Wilson.